We're here with Mike Arnold. Mike is a fishery manager and guide at the resort here. He's out here most every day during the 8 months long fishing season. So Mike, what are the best times of the year to fish here?
Traditionally spring, as soon as ice is out. You were out here when the ice first went out. We had, there was hundreds, if not thousands, of rainbows on the east side of the lake, and the shale just cruising there. And my gosh, it was phenomenal. And then as the water warms up, it's good. It just gets better as the water warms up. We get more bug action, and it just is better fishing all the way up until July. So from ice out normally in March, ice out. This year it was April before all of the ice was out of the lake, and then it gets better up until the water gets hot, which is usually mid-July, and then it just gets tough fishing. With your system works good then. Dwayne has a trolling method where he gets down deep to them and did real well when the water was warm. And then once the water starts cooling off in August, then it's good all the way up again until ice up.
What kind of fish are in here that you stock?
We've got 5 different strains. I've got 3 subspecies of rainbows, kamloops, eagle lakes, and triploids. I have brown trout, cutthroat trout, brook trout, and tiger trout, which are a hybrid mix of brown and brookie.
How often do you stock fish in here, Mike?
We usually stock 2-3 times a year. This year we did one major restocking plant, 5,000 kamloop rainbows. They went in May, late May, at 6 inches, and I've caught them just recently up to 10 and 11 inches already. That just shows you the biomass of the bugs out there, and they're, all the strains we plant are quick growing fish, and they grow quick and they grow big.
So how big do the fish get here?
They average, I don't know, depending on the year class, I'd say 22 to 30 plus. The biggest fish we got this year that we landed was 10-pound, 12-ounce brown trout. And I've lost some this year that were as big, if not bigger. We had just a tremendous weed growth this year, and we had 2 weeks of 90-plus degree weather where the lake was very calm and the sun penetrated and kicked off weed growth like I've never seen since I've been out here. And the weeds took a lot of fish from us.
Wow.
I came up with the Wyoming 8-second rule. Figure if it's good enough to ride a 2,000-pound bull fighting a fish, you can count him when you lose him after 8 seconds. So I have some friends that really invoke the 8-second rule, and I don't know. I'm starting to think I got to carry a stopwatch for him, because I think he's counting some at 6.5 seconds.
So how many fish do you estimate are in the lake based on years of stocking?
I've got the records since Dan Edelman has owned it 5 years now, of 35,000 fish that we've put in. And I don't know before that. I know we caught some Eagle Lake trout back before I got involved with this, but I've seen the pictures that were up to 18, 19 pounds. you know, those big Eagle Lakes grow. But I think most of those fish have died off now.
Oh.
I've never seen one that big, but we have Eagle Lakes in there again.
So what size of rod and tippet would a fisherman need to have to fish here?
As far as rods, nothing less than a 6 weight. I mean, those fish will just own you. Even if the weeds aren't bad, they'll own you with a 5 weight. And you risk breaking your rods. As far as leaders and tippets, I start with a 2X before the weed growth comes up, and then I'll drop down to a 1X, and late this year I was all the way to a 0X, and still would break off.
So where do people come from to fish here? What areas of the world or country?
I've had them from all over the world this year. England, Spain, France, New Zealand, Australia, Italy, and virtually every state of the Union.
Wow. This area, this lake is known for the sedge caddis hatch. And I've noticed that the bigger fish, which are ones over 24 inches, show themselves a lot when that hatch is on. Could you talk about that and show us some flies that you like to use out here?
Well, the traveling sedge caddis is, I'd never seen it until 2 years ago. It's a big bug, size 10s and 12s, and it has some 10, some 12, some 8 legs on each side. And when it first hatches, it comes up and its wings are laying back like the tent shape of a normal caddis, and then they just start skittering on the water. They spin in circles. I mean, there's no way to replicate that, you know, with a fly rod. Try to match that motion they have. But when they're skittering, it's so fast, and they dart, and they actually will do a 360-degree spin. And there's so much disturbance on the water that it just calls fish. And I've seen the wake coming from, 10 feet away. You just see this huge wake coming, and you just wait for that. And when they hit it, it's not like a dry fly, something on a calabatus or a mayfly. They don't sip this, they just eat it. They splash, and it's very aggressive hit. And then they're big fish. I mean, I've never caught little fish on this is called Hoe Candy. Tim Wade's one of his signature flies, and Tim tied this for a hopper pattern on the rivers, and I started playing with it on the lake. I like it he ties it in a yellow body, a red body, and an orange body, and also a green body. The orange, the yellow, and the red have been the most productive for me. It has rubber legs. You cast it out, let it set, and then twitch it, make a disturbance on the top, and give them something to key on, and it just calls them up. And it's just a tremendous bug. And then the Goddard caddis is also another very good imitation. Same kind of deal, cast it out, let it set for a little bit, and then start moving it. Because that fly never sets. I mean, it'll pause when it's swimming, and then it moves again. And it seems like, I don't know, just watching fish this over the last 2 years with this, they dart so much, and when you get a blanket hatch out there, I mean, there's just hundreds of them in a short area, and the fish will come up and they'll miss them because they turn in circles and they dart so fast. So I think they get educated and they wait for that pause and then hit them. It's a tremendous hatch and a tremendous time to be on the water when those are on there. In 2016, that hatch lasted over 2 months, This year it was a lot shorter lived. And I don't know. I've talked to people that are familiar with the hatch and that 2.5 month hatch we had in 16 was abnormal, and the one we had this year was a little over a month, and that was abnormal too. So I've talked to like Denny Rickards out in Oregon. They get that hatch, and he's very familiar with the bug, and it says it usually lasts 6 weeks or so on a body of water. So I don't know, but all I know is when it's on, man, that's the bugs to use. Just a phenomenal hatch.